What's up, everybody? This is Chuck from the ITXP, and you're watching episode 9.2, the continuation of Unreal Engine. Now, I started playing around with this last week when it was released. To be fair, I haven't been playing with it as much as I'd like to, probably half an hour to an hour a day. I think I skipped a couple of days, so it's not really been the full week of actually fooling around with this. But I have been able to get some things, and what I wanted to talk about today is actually how to get into landscape mode. Editing mode to build your landscape. Some of the things that I did, and I'll show you in a few seconds, really didn't pan out well as I thought it would be, and it's because I was doing it wrong. Because, you know, I'm an IT guy. I don't really read the manual. Who reads the manual anymore? No, not me. I don't do that. But let's get into it, and I'll show you what I've done so far. So, as you can see, I have the editor open here. I placed some buildings and whatnot. If I go into my session, we can go in here and we can kick the tires and see some of the things that I have built. But you notice I really don't have any landscape. And what I put down here were some textures, which I thought were landscape because I'm an idiot. So it's one of those things where, hold on, I have to change my audio 1 second because you're not hearing anything apart from me speaking. And I thought I fixed this before I recorded, but that's okay. So here we go. I forgot that when you change your sound mixer settings in your computer, Fortnite doesn't pick it up. So then I was playing around with some different shapes. So this is a sphere, and I put concrete texture around it. Again, I'm just playing around. I'm just learning how to do things within this editor. I'm not a game designer. I'm not a developer. I'm just an IT guy that loves to play video games, has always wanted to play video games. Make video games his entire life. So this is just the editing mode, and you can see. So obviously that's that. I put Chonker Space Speedway. What is this called? I forgot what this is called, but I put that in there. Again, I thought this was going to be mud, but I was completely off. So that's just texture. Let me go back to the editor. Let me zoom out a little bit. And what I want to do something in this area. So now I realize I got to go to landscape mode first. And here is where we actually start building our landscape. This is where you can manage, sculpt, and paint within the landscape. And you have those options here. So if I can actually sculpt something, I don't have any landscape, so I got to put landscape in there first. So I'll create something new. I don't know, we'll just throw something in here and we'll create. So now we'll import. I'm just taking the defaults, not really changing anything. And now I have some landscape here that I can now go into sculpt, and I can do hydro erosion. Right? It simulates the erosion caused by rainfall. So if I select that and I go, whoop, I don't know, is it doing anything? Here we go. It's doing something. Right? It's kind of doing something. All right. And then let's do a ramp. Let's do right there. That looks good. I don't know. And then let's do some more sculpting around here. Oh, here it is. Look at this sculpture. All right, so let me back out some more. Ooh, that's kind of close to my, oh, I lost all my other textures. But here's how you're building stuff. So I'm going to move some stuff over here, and I'll sculpt some more stuff around here. Some more hills. If you hold down to it longer, it'll actually create a bigger hill for you. So if I keep holding this down, it'll continue growing. I don't want to do that. It's kind of a bit large. And then I can flatten out some things, right? So those areas that I made visible previously, I can flatten out. I'm going to leave this just to see what it actually looks like. Then what else can I do? Add noise. I don't know what this means. Okay. Sure. Again, just fooling around with all this stuff to see what the hell I'm doing, right? The whether or not it makes any sense of what I wanted to do. So if I just continue doing this, and look how simple this is, right? I'm just really recreating some of those things that you're familiar with in Fortnite. A lot of this right now in the first few stages of this development of me learning is essentially going to be Fortnite flavor, because I don't have any assets to import. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So I just saved this, right? And I'm going to push the changes into my world. I saved it. I don't know why I didn't save it again. All right, so it's saving. So anyway, I don't have any assets to actually import into Fortnite yet, but I was going through some other documentation around using Midjourney, which is the AI image creation app, to actually create assets. And while this is preparing, let me show you what I've done so far. To go in here, I'm going to pull it over in a second once I log in. Something's going on here. Let me go into my Midjourney profile. If I was a professional, I'd have all this. Of course. So let me show you what I've done so far. I've been fooling around with this. All right, so let me move this over. All right, so while that's still preparing, let me move this over here. So what I did was I actually created my own Discord server and put the Midjourney API in here. So I've been trying to create some assets. I like the medieval theme a lot. So I was looking at creating weapons. This was supposed to be a flaming mace, but I don't know. It doesn't look like what I want it to be. So then I moved on to, this is kind of the end result. It's not really the right size and shape I want to do for a mace, but it's a decent start. So then I moved on to helmets. This is like a Spartan helmet type flavor here. I really like this one, but I needed it front facing, so I've been fooling around trying to make it front facing, but had some different results here. Again, a lot of this stuff I'm playing around with to really understand fully what I can do with this. So here's some more helmets that I've been fooling around with. Again, what I want to do is try to figure out how to export this into and import it into my game. Now, apparently, there is another tool that you can use called Blender, which is actually an asset creation tool for your video games. So you have to install this, and it'll actually allow you to create various assets for your game. So if you really, really want to get into creating your own game within UEFN, this is going to be the place in combination with, I think, with Midjourney or DALL-E or whatever image creation tool that you use. In addition with Blender, maybe, and again, I haven't looked through all this. There's a whole YouTube playlist that I can go through. So let me see if I can do this.
Hey, I'm Joey, and I'm one of the 30 AI voices from
I'm using
you listen to this video.
An account that doesn't have it. I have premium on it. So here are some assets that they're creating. Let me lower this a little bit. Right. So here's some assets that they're creating within this tool. So it's actually pretty cool, right? You can actually create the assets that you need within this tool and then import them into UEFN. Now, within UEFN, they actually have a bunch of documentation on how to actually import those assets that you create. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how I can leverage the information from, or the creations from Midjourney in Blender, and then import them into, oh, look at this, here we go. Import them into Unreal Editor. So one of the things that, I'm stuck now. Here we go. All right. So I was inside the the mountain here. So here's what I built, right? The little hills that I built and things like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to climb up here because I didn't create a ramp for it. Let's see if I can find that ramp that I built. I may have killed that other ramp that I had. But if I start flying, just like you can in creative mode, right? Oops. I thought it was, I gotta move up. There we go. So if I go up a little bit more, I can see some of the things that I created. Again, really just futzing around with this, trying to understand what all I can do with this editor. I'm learning as I'm going. As you can see, you're actually limited in your memory. So what I did right now, I think is 19 megs. I don't know if that's megabytes, kilobytes, whatever. But it's a start. It's a start to understand how things work, the mechanics of the editor, which I think is really key. I think a lot of us want to go right in and build, want to go right in and build your whole game. But for folks like me that have never had experience or exposure to building something, we have to take baby steps. So start futzing around with the editor. I talked about not being able to, but not reading the documentation because I'm an IT guy and I just walk into it. That's the wrong approach. All right? That's the wrong approach. Fortnite has this entire documentation. Now, a lot of it isn't working well, but some of it is actually, so if you click on links, it's the 404 error. And if you go back, it'll actually pull up. So a little bit of bugginess around the whole documentation, but you'll get there, and you'll see that when I put in the landscape, it actually kind of put this out of whack. So let's try to fix this. So if I go back into, if I go back to UEFN and I select my castle here and I hit, I had to move it. What the hell is I moving? I want my castle. Oh, God. Ah! Can I move this up? There's something in there I'm rotating and I can't figure it out. Oh, I'm using the wrong thing. So let me go in there. I want my castle. Ah! Oh, that's what I was futzing around with. I was futzing around with a tile. So let me go back here. Let me leave that. Let me see what's going on. I'm going to select the entire castle. Can I select the entire castle? No, why can't I select the entire castle? Oh, because I got to go over here on the right hand side. I want to select the entire castle. And then can I go this? There it is. So if I move this, there it is. And then I do boop. Let's see if that fixes anything. Now I wait for that to publish, and I wait for that. Ah, look, boom. Now it's fixed, right? I just fixed it. I moved it. Now some of the grass is in there, and I guess I can figure out how to make that work. It still looks like it's still uploading some of the changes, but you can see that most of it has been resolved. And I just put the castle here. I didn't put any of the sounds. It comes with the castle. So a lot of these things that Fortnite's giving you comes with it. So it's actually pretty cool. You can't vault because I'm not actually in a game mode. I'm in editing mode. So if you've ever played creative, you know that if you double space, it'll make you fly around and things like that, right? So if I do this, and see this one also is a bit down, so I can go back and fix that. Let's see what happens after this is all said and done. But this is really all I want to show what I've done so far. So far. I started going through the first hour of Fortnite, and a lot of it was kind of like, all right, I get it. I get it. I understand some of this stuff. Some of the stuff I didn't understand, like the landscaping. I told you that the the textures that I put in there were just textures and not actually landscape. So that's kind of where I wound up. But if I go back in here, and then I'll start the game in 2 seconds. Let's see if it resolved that. Oh, here it goes. See? So it fixed it. So I snapped the castle to the landscape, and boom, it fixed it. Remember, this was lower, and there was some grass in here. So some of those things are really just trial and error, or reading the freaking manual, RTFM, if you're an IT person, and it'll help you through a lot of this. So what does this mean for me from next steps? Well, I'm going to continue futzing around with this, actually making something that is a game of some sort. Now, this game right here that I set up is Capture the Flag. There's a Capture the Flag style settings that you can actually develop within your game. So I just put the settings in as Capture the Flag just to see what type of abilities I have. And look, I almost died. But there are things that you can do here in terms of adding capture points, adding a bunch of other teams to play, and you can kind of see from that. So here now, because I'm playing a game, I'm actually able to vault and things like that. But yeah, so this is kind of where we're at, and I'm gonna die. Boom. This is where I'm at with what I've done so far with Unreal Editor for Fortnite. Again, not a lot of time that I had to really focus on this, but it's a good start for me. It's actually farther than what I expected to do. I know where a lot of the assets are within the editor. Really navigating the editor is what I spent most of my time on. I haven't gotten to verse programming yet because I really don't know what I'm going to do yet. And that's going to be key. And when I talked about being able to crawl before you can walk, before you can run, that's something that is going to be key for this, is really understanding the layout of the editor, where things are, where the assets are, how you can control the assets, how you can snap the assets to the grid, how you can add landscape like I showed today, right? How to create the landscape for your world. And you're going to be able to add different assets that are already available to you in Fortnite. The next phase is, all right, now I know I have a basic framework of something that I want to build. Let me build it out. Right, so sketch it out, do whatever you can in terms of either use a Miro board, any sort of kind of whiteboarding solution that you want to use, even on pen and paper. Right, get your kids together. If you're an older parent, if you're a parent and you have children that play Fortnite and they want to build something, or there's somebody in your family that's been playing Minecraft and building in Minecraft, you say, hey, we can do this now in Fortnite. And if they're like, I don't like Fortnite, be like, no, we create our own game, right? Then come up with the idea, come up with the framework, then see what you can do with what's already there. And then the next evolution is, okay, use Blender or Midjourney or something else in combination with Blender to create those assets. To create those assets, your own assets that you can put into the game. From what I'm hearing is that you can actually monetize those assets. Right? You create a little helmet and things like that. If you've ever been on the Metaverse blockchain game, the Sandbox, that's what people are doing, right? They're creating assets and selling them within that own world. This is very early stages. If you look at UEFN, it says beta. It's still beta. So you're in the front, you're on the ground floor of all of this. So I think now's the time to really start learning this, and maybe by the time you know enough and start creating assets, you can monetize on those assets. So imagine that you're working with your child or cousin or whomever, brother, sister, and you're building something and you're actually making money off of it. Now you have to sign up their creator portal and things like that. If you're young, maybe work with your parents. But before you go to your parents, show them what you've actually been doing. Right, saying I'm not just sitting there playing on Fortnite, I'm actually building, right? And we can actually monetize them, show them on things like Minecraft, what people have done, or even Roblox, right? People have built Roblox worlds. This is kind of the next evolution for you in terms of evolution from a gamer to a creator. And you can do the same thing I'm doing. Just broadcast it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever platform of your choice and really demonstrate the skill sets. Look, yes, everybody's doing this, all right? Everybody's showing something about UEFN. You have teams of people showing what they're doing and things like that potentially, but you're different than everybody else. You have different vision. You have different ideas. And this is why I'm going through this. I'm just showing you how I learn through this whole process, right? A lot of us don't really see that learning process. We may see it in terms of over the course of time, somebody has gotten better at developing something or even playing a game, right? But nobody talks about it, right? How I learned and things like that. So I'm one of those folks, and even in my career, I said, this is what I've learned over the course of time. This is how I've impacted my career, or this is how I've been able to develop my career. This is how I fixed a bug in a program that I wrote, or a script that I wrote, not a program, a script. So that's my aspect, and the way I address this is really just showing you, if you're willing to watch it, willing to suffer with me, that's who I'm here for. If you're looking for a polished, I'm in my basement. I have a green screen there that I still haven't put up because, again, for me, it doesn't add value at this point in time. What the value that I'm trying to show here is that you can actually do this. You, the unexperienced developer but experienced game player, can actually start creating worlds. You're like, oh man, because I remember when I was a kid playing Ninja Gaiden, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I wish I could build something like this, right? Get ideas from that. A friend of mine back in high school, we actually sat down and built like kind of a framework of a game we wanted to build back then, and I still have that in the back of my mind because I was so committed to doing something with that. But life got in the way, and here we are. But I always remember those early stages of talking through what we wanted to do, and I may actually have the opportunity to build it here all those years later. I'm talking about 25 years ago, right? 25 years ago, maybe 27. Shit, almost 30, I think, at this point, right? Because I'm an old man. So take this time and opportunity to learn something new as it's on the ground floor. Try to get onto that creator portal. See if you can start, as you get better in developing your skills, see if you can get onto the creator portal, see what you can monetize, right? Collaborate with other people. Hell, reach out to me and collaborate with me. I gave you the wrong TikTok. It's the.it.xp. The underscores was my old account I can't get back into. So it's the.it.xp. Reach out to me there. social-media at theitxp.com if you want to reach out to me via email, legacy email, or hit me up on my YouTube channel. Just say, hey, let's collaborate, let's learn together. Now my schedules are a little bit weird, right? I typically don't do anything after 6 o'clock at night because I spend time with my family, right? But we can collaborate, we can figure something out. But if you're really interested in this, if you're a parent, like, hey, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I hear my kids talking about this, reach out to me. I will definitely be happy to walk you through this. It's not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. If your child is wanting to do this, encourage them to do this. Let their creativity fly. Because I'm going to tell you, in school, they're not able to be creative, right? They're really... The standards within schools today are really destroying our creativity in our children. That's why for my kids, I allow them to express themselves. They're in art, they're in dance, right? They do a sport, they do crafts, whatever, to allow that creativity to continue to flourish, because we cannot build robots here. We can't. I know corporate America wants robots and the school system wants robots, but we can't have that. I'm going to step off my platform, but thank you for watching, and we'll pick this up next week, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more of a polished something to create. Please watch this. I'm putting it on Rumble as well, but Rumble is limiting the resolution of 480. I don't know. But I'd like to build a fan base on Rumble as well, because again, I think it's a smaller pond, and hopefully I can be a bigger fish. But we'll see. But anyway, at the ITXP, v.it.xp on TikTok. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you so much.